My friends, life is full of noise, distraction, and pressure. Every day, something is trying to pull you out of peace. People's opinions, unexpected problems, financial stress, emotional battles, and inner doubts. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can control what happens within you. The greatest victories are not fought in public, but within the walls of your own heart and mind. And until you learn to master yourself, your words, your emotions, your money, and your thoughts, you'll always feel like life is controlling you instead of you controlling it. In this message, we're going to uncover one of the most powerful truths for living a victorious and peaceful life. You will learn how to control your mouth, because your words are building your tomorrow. You will learn to master your mood, because your emotions determine your energy and focus. You will learn how to manage your monies, because financial discipline is not just wisdom, it's spiritual order. And finally, you will learn to direct your mind, because everything you will ever achieve begins as a thought. This isn't just another motivational talk. This is a guide for transformation. As you listen, you'll begin to see how divine balance brings blessing, how self-control opens doors, and how peace gives you power. By the end of this message, you won't just feel inspired. You'll feel equipped to take charge of your life, your purpose, and your destiny. So I want you to listen closely, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Let every word stir something inside you. Let this message remind you that the greatness doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from mastering yourself. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish, you'll understand how to rise above stress, speak with power, live with discipline, and think with clarity. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. It begins the moment you take control of yourself. Your mouth creates your reality. Every word that comes out of your mouth carries creative power, whether for good or for destruction. Words are not mere sounds. They are spiritual forces that shape the environment of your life. The universe responds to what you consistently declare, for words are seeds planted into the soil of your destiny. When you speak faith, gratitude, and vision, you invite divine power to work on your behalf. But when you speak doubt, fear, and negativity, you give permission for chaos and limitation to take root. The mouth becomes the steering wheel of your life, directing the course of your future. What you say in moments of pressure, pain, or uncertainty often reveals what fills your heart, and it is from that inner reservoir that the course of your life unfolds. In every season, your words either build bridges toward breakthrough or walls of delay. Many people pray for change yet cancel their own prayers with the words they speak afterward. They say, "I believe," but follow it with, "I'm not sure it will happen." Such contradictions confuse the spiritual atmosphere. Faith must be reinforced with consistent confession. Your mouth is not meant to describe what you see, but to declare what you believe. When you speak as God speaks, calling things that are not as though they were, you align your reality with divine purpose. What you repeatedly say becomes what you eventually see. The spoken word has power to heal, to restore, to attract, and to create, because it carries the energy of belief. Guarding your mouth means becoming intentional about every word released. Complaining releases an atmosphere of frustration, while gratitude releases an atmosphere of favor. Gossip drains spiritual energy, while words of encouragement multiply peace, even in moments of pain. And when your situation seems hopeless, what you speak determines whether you sink or rise. You can talk yourself into defeat or talk yourself into destiny. This is why discipline over speech is essential for spiritual and emotional growth. Silence can sometimes be more powerful than speech because it gives space for reflection and prevents damage caused by careless words. A controlled tongue is a sign of wisdom and maturity. It shows that your spirit governs your emotions. The connection between your mouth and your destiny is not accidental. It is divine design. The same breath that gives life to your body gives life to your words. Your declarations have creative power because they are infused with the breath of God that dwells within you. Speaking life over your future, your family, and your work invites the supernatural to align circumstances in your favor. Speaking fear or failure opens doors to confusion and discouragement. Therefore, it is not enough to think positively. You must also speak positively. Thoughts conceive, but words give birth. When your speech aligns with faith, you become an instrument of creation, shaping your destiny one word at a time. Your mood determines your momentum. The emotional atmosphere you carry influences every decision, every relationship, and every outcome in your life. Mood is the unseen energy that either propels you forward or holds you back. When your mood is rooted in peace, gratitude, and confidence, it becomes easier to act with clarity, discipline, and faith. But when your mood is ruled by frustration, anger, or worry, even simple tasks feel heavy and progress becomes slow. The state of your heart determines the strength of your steps. A person can have great talent, vision, and opportunity, but if their mood is unstable, their direction becomes scattered. The mind may know the goal, but the emotions must agree before movement can happen with power. Mood is not merely a reaction to circumstances, it is a choice of focus. Many people allow external situations to dictate how they feel, shifting between joy and despair depending on the day's events. But true emotional mastery comes from within, from the decision to let faith and gratitude rule the heart regardless of circumstances. When your inner peace is grounded in trust, no external chaos can steal your momentum. You can walk through storms and still remain calm because your foundation is spiritual, not circumstantial. This calmness is not weakness. It is strength under control. It gives you the ability to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. Every major downfall in life often begins with a disturbed mood. When you let frustration linger, it clouds your judgment. When you allow fear to dominate, it paralyzes action. When you let offense take root, it poisons your relationships. The enemy does not always need to destroy your opportunities. Sometimes he only needs to disturb your mood. Because once your emotional state is unsettled, your momentum slows down. Maintaining emotional discipline is therefore a form of spiritual warfare. It keeps your energy aligned with your vision and prevents temporary emotions from causing permanent damage. To control your mood, you must first guard your environment and your thoughts. What you see, hear, and meditate on constantly affects your emotions. Surrounding yourself with negativity will pull you into discouragement, while feeding your spirit with uplifting words, music, and prayer will keep your inner climate healthy. Gratitude is a powerful mood stabilizer. When you focus on what is working instead of what is missing, your emotions shift from frustration to contentment. Joy is not the absence of problems, but the presence of perspective. Choosing to stay joyful is an act of strength, not denial. Momentum in life comes from emotional stability. A steady mood creates consistent action, and consistent action produces results. When your emotions remain centered in faith, your mind stays clear and your steps become firm. Even when life throws uncertainty your way, you can keep moving forward because your peace is anchored in something greater than circumstance. A person who controls their mood controls their momentum. And one who controls their momentum eventually controls the direction of their destiny. Your money reflects your discipline. Financial health is not simply a result of how much you earn, but how wisely you manage what passes through your hands. Money is a mirror that reveals your mindset, habits, and priorities. Many people pray for abundance yet fail to cultivate the discipline that sustains it. Without structure, stewardship, and self-control, even great wealth can vanish quickly. Prosperity is not accidental. It is the result of intentional choices and faithful management. The way you handle your money speaks volumes about your values. Every spending decision is a reflection of what you honor most, whether it is instant pleasure, long-term vision, or divine purpose. Discipline with money begins with a shift in perspective. You must view yourself not as the owner, but as the steward of what has been entrusted to you. Everything you have is a resource meant to be managed with wisdom and purpose. This understanding removes greed and fear, replacing them with responsibility and gratitude. When you learn to handle small amounts faithfully, you position yourself for greater increase. Money tests character. It exposes whether you are guided by impulse or by principle. A disciplined person learns to delay gratification, budget carefully, and plan for the future. They resist the temptation to impress others and instead focus on building stability and growth. Financial discipline also requires emotional control. Many financial problems stem not from lack of income, but from emotional spending, trying to fill emptiness or insecurity with material things. When you find your peace in purpose rather than possessions, you become free from the need to overspend or compare yourself to others. Your money then becomes a tool for building rather than a trap of bondage. Controlling your finances begins with controlling your emotions and understanding that every dollar has an assignment. Some money is meant to meet needs, some to multiply through wise investment, and some to bless others. The key is balance guided by discernment. Prosperity flows where order is present. A life without financial order becomes a life of stress and limitation. Budgeting is not a restriction, but an act of empowerment. It gives direction to your finances and ensures that every resource contributes to your vision. Saving, tithing, and giving are not mere acts of habit. They are expressions of trust in divine provision. When you give with faith, you activate the law of sowing and reaping. When you save with discipline, you prepare for opportunities that others miss. And when you manage with wisdom, you create room for increase. Money reveals who you are when no one is watching. If you can be trusted to handle your resources with integrity, you can be trusted with greater influence and responsibility. True financial freedom does not come from having more, but from mastering what you already have. Discipline brings stability, and stability attracts growth. When you learn to manage your money with wisdom, patience, and purpose, it becomes a reflection of divine order in your life, a visible expression of inner maturity and self-control that positions you for lasting prosperity. Your mind directs your life. Every action, decision, and behavior begins with a thought. And whatever dominates your mind eventually defines your destiny. The mind is the control center of your life. It is where battles are fought and victories are won or lost long before they manifest outwardly. A disciplined mind is like a well-guided ship, steady in storms and purposeful in direction, while an undisciplined mind drifts wherever emotion or circumstance carries it. What you feed your mind determines what you become, because thoughts are seeds that grow into habits, and habits form the character that shapes your future. If your thoughts are constantly filled with fear, doubt, and worry, then your actions will mirror insecurity and hesitation. But when your thoughts are aligned with faith, truth, and vision, you walk with confidence, clarity, and purpose. The power of the mind lies in its ability to create reality through belief. What you continuously meditate on becomes the atmosphere of your life. If your mind is focused on limitation, your creativity and motivation will shrink. If your mind is filled with hope and possibility, opportunities begin to reveal themselves. The human mind has the extraordinary ability to attract what it expects. This is why renewing your thoughts daily is not just a mental exercise, but a spiritual discipline. You cannot expect divine success while allowing toxic thoughts to rule your heart. The mind must be guarded. Just like a precious garden, you must uproot weeds of negativity and water it with words of truth, prayer, and gratitude. Every day, you choose what enters your mental space. The media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the people you surround yourself with all influence your thought patterns. A disciplined person learns to protect their mental environment. They refuse to allow gossip, fear-driven narratives, or self-pity to take residence in their thinking. Instead, they fill their mind with vision, purpose, and faith. This mental discipline keeps the spirit strong even when life feels uncertain. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your peace. When your mind is calm and focused, you respond to challenges with wisdom instead of reaction. Your mind is also the birthplace of creativity and divine ideas. Many people pray for blessings, but the answers often come in the form of thoughts and insights. If your mind is cluttered with negativity, you cannot hear the whispers of inspiration that lead to breakthrough. A clear and disciplined mind becomes a channel for divine wisdom. Through meditation, reflection, and stillness, you begin to see possibilities that others overlook. When your mind is governed by truth and aligned with faith, you can turn even obstacles into opportunities. Mastering your mind requires daily effort and spiritual awareness. The thoughts you entertain today become the reality you experience tomorrow. Every dream, goal, or transformation begins in the mind. When you learn to discipline your thinking, focus on purpose, and filter negativity, you begin to shape your life intentionally rather than accidentally. The direction of your mind is the direction of your destiny, and when your thoughts are aligned with divine truth, your life begins to move in harmony with God's perfect will. Mastering yourself is greater than conquering others. The highest form of victory is not achieved by overpowering people, circumstances, or competition, but by conquering the impulses, emotions, and weaknesses within your own soul. The person who controls their reactions, desires, and thoughts holds true power, because external victories are temporary, but internal mastery is eternal. Many strive to dominate others, to prove their worth or superiority, yet remain prisoners to anger, pride, greed, and insecurity. True strength is not displayed in aggression or outward success, but in the quiet stability of a disciplined spirit. When you master yourself, you become unshakable regardless of what happens around you, because your peace and direction no longer depend on external validation. Self-mastery begins with self-awareness. You cannot control what you do not first recognize. Understanding your patterns, triggers, and weaknesses allows you to apply wisdom instead of emotion. Many destroy opportunities not because of lack of talent, but because they fail to manage themselves when faced with pressure or offense. When you remain calm in chaos, patient in delay, and humble in success, you demonstrate power that cannot be taken away. The world often measures greatness by influence, But in reality, the one who governs his own spirit is mightier than one who conquers cities. Internal discipline brings stability, and stability produces lasting impact. The process of mastering yourself requires consistency. You cannot overcome old habits or thought patterns in a moment. It takes daily surrender, reflection, and renewal. Every time you resist the temptation to react impulsively, you grow stronger. Every time you choose wisdom over emotion, you increase your authority over yourself. This form of mastery does not mean suppressing your feelings, but transforming them. Anger can become courage, fear can become wisdom, and desire can become motivation when properly directed. The goal is not to kill emotion, but to govern it under divine guidance. Mastering yourself also means refusing to be ruled by external voices. Opinions, criticism, and distractions constantly compete for attention, but when you know who you are and where you are going, such noise loses its power. Self-mastery gives you clarity in a world of confusion. You no longer chase everything that shines because you understand that not everything that glitters is gold. This inner alignment allows you to make decisions based on purpose rather than impulse. The one who governs themselves cannot be easily manipulated, discouraged, or derailed. Ultimately, mastering yourself invites divine partnership. When you discipline your flesh, align your mind, and yield your will to higher wisdom, you become a vessel capable of carrying greater responsibility. You stop fighting battles outside and start winning battles within. It is in the quiet victories over pride, fear, laziness, and doubt that true greatness is born. A person who can lead themselves can lead others effectively because leadership begins from the inside out. When you learn to rule your inner world, the outer world begins to align accordingly, and peace, strength, and divine order follow you wherever you go. Balance brings blessing. Life was never meant to be lived in extremes, for imbalance creates chaos while harmony invites peace and prosperity. Many people pray for success, peace, or growth, but they fail to understand that true blessing flows through balance. When your mouth, mood, money, and mind are aligned under discipline and faith, you become a vessel that can sustain abundance without breaking under pressure. Balance is the invisible bridge between chaos and clarity, between survival and success. It is not about doing everything at once, but about giving the right attention to the right things at the right time. A balanced life reflects maturity, wisdom, and self-control. It is the sign of a person who has learned to live with purpose rather than impulse. Balance begins with understanding priorities. When you place spiritual growth, health, relationships, and purpose in their rightful order, your life gains stability. Many lose peace because they chase one area of success at the expense of another. Some pursue wealth but neglect their mental and emotional health. Others focus on spiritual matters but ignore practical responsibilities. True balance is not about dividing your life equally, but about aligning it properly. When your life is built on the right foundation, everything else falls into its place naturally. You cannot expect blessing if your priorities are disordered, because imbalance always leads to exhaustion and emptiness. The blessing of balance extends beyond personal peace. It attracts divine favor. When your mind is calm, your words are measured, your emotions are steady, and your finances are managed with discipline, you create an atmosphere that heaven can bless. Chaos repels opportunity, but order invites increase. Balance gives space for clarity, creativity, and discernment to flow. It allows you to hear divine instruction clearly and act on it effectively. Many breakthroughs are delayed not because of lack of opportunity, but because of inner disorder. When you bring harmony to your inner life, you create room for external miracles. Balance also protects you from burnout. When you live constantly at extremes, working without rest, giving without receiving, or striving without reflection, you eventually drain your spirit. Rest, reflection, and renewal are not weaknesses. They are necessary rhythms that sustain strength. Even nature operates in cycles of balance. Day and night, seed time and harvest, work and rest. Ignoring these divine rhythms leads to frustration and fatigue. When you learn to flow with balance, you find peace even in progress and joy even in responsibility. You realize that success without rest is not success at all. And giving without balance leads to resentment instead of fulfillment. A balanced life is a blessed life because it reflects divine order. When your inner world is aligned, your outer world begins to prosper. Balance allows you to live with gratitude, discipline, and grace. It gives you room to grow without losing yourself. The one who maintains balance in word, mood, money, and mind becomes like a well-rooted tree, steady in storms, fruitful in seasons, and peaceful in every circumstance. Balance does not mean perfection. It means harmony under divine guidance, and where harmony dwells, blessings naturally follow. In conclusion, life's greatest strength is not found in control over others or in the pursuit of external success, but in the mastery of yourself. When you learn to control your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind, you align your life with divine order. Your words begin to create power. Your emotions begin to produce peace. Your finances begin to reflect discipline. And your thoughts begin to open doors of clarity and purpose. Each of these areas is connected. What you speak shapes how you feel influences how you act. How you act determines how you manage, and how you manage reflects what you truly believe. When balance governs all four, blessing follows naturally. This message is a reminder that greatness is not accidental, it is intentional. You must decide daily to speak with wisdom, respond with calmness, manage with purpose, and think with clarity. The power to transform your future lies not outside you, but within you. When you master your inner world, your outer world begins to reflect it. Peace replaces chaos, growth replaces stagnation, and blessing replaces struggle. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice control, and every victory becomes a testimony of inner strength. So, as you move forward, let this truth dwell deeply in your heart. Discipline is the foundation of destiny. Control what you can control, surrender what you cannot, and keep your focus on divine purpose. When your mouth speaks life, your mood stays peaceful, your money is managed with wisdom, and your mind remains focused on truth. There is nothing that can stop you from walking in the fullness of your potential. May you walk in strength, balance, and divine favor. May wisdom guide your words, peace govern your emotions, stewardship shape your finances, and clarity direct your thoughts. The blessing you seek is already within reach. Let balance unlock it. Good luck, and thank you for taking the time to receive this message. May it plant seeds of wisdom, discipline, and transformation in your life. Stay encouraged, stay focused, and remember, the one who controls themselves cannot be controlled by anything else. Your breakthrough, your success, and your peace are already in motion.